Hey everyone, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. I have a topic that I have been wanting to talk about for a while, and I happened to see it probably back in May of this year, 2025, and that is Joy Taylor. I guess she was a Fox sports commentator. You guys probably know more about her than I do, but she made a comment about male loneliness and the possible need to legalize prostitution. So I'm going to chime in on that. I got the article from the U.S. Sun. The writer of the article is Jim Sheraton, and I'm going to leave it in my description box. Let me read what she said first, and then I'm going to give my opinion. Okay. This was their last stand. They're like, hold on, listen. We let you in the boardrooms. We let you get credit cards. Running for president is too much audacity for us. Taylor also claimed there was a male loneliness epidemic, and she believes a major change to legislation would help solve the issue. She continued, I think we should legalize prostitution. I've been standing on this for decades. I believe she was born in 1987, the year I graduated from high school, by the way. And I think prostitution should be legalized. They would never do this, but I think would be a massive solve. I believe that straight male biology, and particularly men who have this sort of anger, is because they don't get physical intimacy. This woman is tripping. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me try to answer it as she said it. Male loneliness. Okay, there was a time in history, decades ago, longer before I was even born. You had the most average, basic looking of men and women who used to come together and get married. A man and a woman started a family and built legacy from there. In some cases, built wealth. Feminism came along, told women, and this woman is clearly a feminist, came along and told women you didn't need husbands, you could be sexually free and indiscriminate, and that gave men license to be able to have sex willy-nilly with any woman who allowed access to her body. There was a time when women were more selective about, I don't want to say who they laid up with, but there was a time when women wanted to be virtuous and wanted to save themselves for a husband. And there was also a time when you had the fun time girls, where a man could go relieve himself, as it were, with the fun time girl, but that wasn't the girl that he would marry. He would marry the one who kept herself. Or if she didn't necessarily keep herself, one of two things might have happened. Either he took her virginity and they went ahead to get married anyway, or he took her virginity, she got pregnant, and potentially another man stepped into that place to marry her and raise the children. Either he knew the kid was his or he didn't. We live in a time now where women, okay, what she was trying to say is, men are angry because women have power now. Men are angry because they're not getting intimacy. And I don't believe that to a certain degree, because the Chads, the Tyrones, the Brads, they're getting it. But it might be the Rogers and the Bryans and the Norbits who are not. And maybe that's who she's saying is angry. And I wouldn't even say that they're necessarily angry, but a lot of these men, my opinion, the more average type of guys, they want wives. They would have had wives 60 years ago. But again, the most basic and average looking of women have been given this fantasy that she can look like who did it and why and still get Tyrone, who's a millionaire. And I know, especially in our community, because I just had this woman not too long ago, make a dig about my appearance, even though she didn't have no picture up. I'm in front of the camera. Hey, y'all. And I was realistic. She was implying that I was a plain Jane, which, okay, I accept that. I never once in any of my videos have I ever said that I was a baddie. But I think for a lot of women, particularly in our community, they only believe that baddies can get the outcome in life that they want from a husband. And I'm going besides the point. So going back to her saying that prostitution should be legalized. Prostitution is the oldest profession in the world, I should say. It was even mentioned in the Bible, where Jesus told the woman to go and sin no more. I'll have to find that scripture and put it there. Prostitution has been around since the dawn of time. Here is what is tripping women up. Women have prostitution mindsets. They're making everything transactional. And then they want men, particularly the type of man that they have in their mind, the Chad, the Brad, that's going to want to settle down with them and make them his wife. Gone are the days where you have average women allowing average men to pick them as a wife. Everybody wants a baddie or Tupac in a suit. Everybody wants the perfect. No one wants to be average. No one wants to be picked by average. This is where a lot of this issue is coming from. I do not believe for a second that men are not getting intimacy. Because now, okay, it might be a different day. I remember when I was a young woman coming up, we used to be warned about dogs. Be careful. These men, they out here looking to see, who they can just use up and toss away. We were raised to guard our bodies. Somewhere in the past 30, okay, let's just put it this way. There's been loose women since the dawn of time. We know this. But the loose women of today want virtuous woman wife benefits. And that's why they are confused out here. So I want to go back to the male loneliness. Like I said, average looking, basic looking men used to have wives 60 years ago. They picked the average woman, or it might have been a woman that was pretty. And you remember the Flintstones? Look at Wilma versus Fred. Look at the Honeymooners, Ralph and Alice. You had the slim wife and the overweight husband. That's been going on since the dawn of time. But feminism, as I said, stepped in and just ruined everything for women, particularly women who want husbands. So I don't agree with this woman that legalizing prostitution is going to be the answer, because prostitution has been around since millennia. It's not going away. Trust and believe, men know who to go to get them something. I remember years ago, and the man has passed away now, so I could talk about it. I'm not naming names anyway. But I had a neighbor, and this man was in his 70s, possibly 80s. And you better believe he had him a little tail who lived down the street. Men know where they can get some booty. Intimacy is not men's problem. Men's problems are not being able to find marriageable women. That's where the male loneliness is coming from. They can't find marriageable women. That's my topic. Tell me what you think about legalized prostitution. Tell me what you think about the male loneliness epidemic. What are your thoughts on that? And I'll talk to you later.